Hello friends and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you to click the subscribe button and click the bell so that you can be notified whenever there are new uploads. In this video, we'll be talking about the top 10 keyboard shortcuts used in Windows 10 and other Windows versions. When working on Windows, it usually involves the use of the keyboard most of the time, and intermittently will be needing the use of the mouse. These two work hand in hand, and there are times when using the keyboard makes us more effective, quicker and more efficient. But sometimes it's also the mouse that can be more efficient, depending on the situation, depending on the placement of our hand. Which one is more ergonomic, which one is closer to which. So here we'll be going to learn about the top 10. I would say everybody has his own top 10 list. I would think so, but this is quite a safe bet. If you look at this top 10, there's a really high frequency kind of keyboard shortcuts. So instead of memorizing all the keyboard shortcuts built in by Windows, which is a lot, that would be very unwise and a waste of energy. So let's focus on the 10. Okay. So many of these you're already familiar with, but here we will see them at work, complementing each other and making your work easier on a daily basis. So the first one will be the Control-C, which is used for copying text. Okay, Control-C, you know how it's done. For those who haven't used it yet, you will press on your Control key, and then while it's pressed, don't let go of that, you press on the C with the same hand usually. If it's left hand, your left hand. Okay, so looking at this example, we have a Word document open in front of us. If we highlight some text over here and then do a Control-C, then that text has been copied to the clipboard. And then now this Control-C will not be useful if it doesn't work with another keyboard shortcut, which is this one. Control-V, used for pasting text. So remember, we already copied the text earlier. And then if I bring my cursor to some other place, I will do a Control-V. And now I'm able to paste the text which I earlier copied using a Control-C. So that's quite straightforward, easy to remember. In fact, most of us I know have already been using Control-C, Control-V. Okay, so the third on the list is this, also familiar for many of us, Control-X, used for cutting. So now for a few of us, only a few, there would be this question: what's the difference between a copy and a cut? That's a good question. So copying, when you do a copy using Control-C maybe, or even using the standard menu item edit copy, when you do Control-C, the source text remains there. It remains there. But when you do a Control-X, you are moving that text to some other place by cutting it. So when I do a Control-X now, you see that you'll notice that some text, the words there have been cut out, have been removed, ready to be pasted somewhere else. Yep, Control-X, that's for cutting. Okay. Now the next on the list can also be familiar, we may be familiar with this one. This is Control-Z or Z for some of us from other parts of the world. And it is used for undoing your last action. So Windows looks at your last executed action. So now when I go to my Word document and do a Control-Z, it will undo or reverse the effect of my last action. Okay, and that undoing with a Control Z can go on many steps backward. I mean, it can go back, and do something, and do something until it gets to the very beginning when you open this file. Okay, see, it will continue to undo. So that is Control Z. Next is this one, Control A. A, easy to remember, A means all. So Control A means select all text. Like in this case, when you click your mouse somewhere, you notice that the cursor goes there. When you highlight some text with your mouse, then it highlights whatever it is that you have highlighted over using your mouse. But when you use Control A, it will select, it will highlight, it will select all the text in that file, no matter how many pages there are in that document you're working on. It could even be an Excel file. So here you Control A, it highlights everything, ready for you to ready in case you wanted to copy it or cut it or do some formatting, like setting everything to bold, italics, whatever it is. Okay, that's Control A, which is select all. The next is this one, Control S, S for save. So of course we know the other ways of saving. There's a menu, which would standard, you would see file, save. But Control S can also be very handy. It can be much quicker. Many times, usually, it's quicker than doing any other kind of saving other than the auto saving. So let's just say in this example, you did some changes. So when you do a Control S, it saves it. In my case, you don't see anything happening because this file has already been given a file name, which is at the title bar. But behind the scenes, it's already doing a saving when I do. It does a saving when I click on the keyboard shortcut Control S. Okay, so that's number 6. The next on the list is this one, show or hide desktop. And the keyboard shortcut keys are Windows button plus D. So you know the Windows button, which we will see on your keyboard. Depending on the keyboard that you have, it may be on the lower left, somewhere on the left usually of the keyboard, you will see the Windows button. So in conjunction, in tandem with that, when you press on the Windows button, you press on the letter D for desktop. So if I will show you now, I will press Windows D, you will notice that it minimizes everything. It closes all applications and shows you the desktop. And when you use the same key combination, keyboard shortcut Windows D, it reverses the effect. It brings back all those applications that you have minimized earlier. See, so Windows D, it's either for showing the desktop or hiding the desktop, which is a reverse of the former. Next on the list is this one, Windows button plus E, which opens for you the File Explorer. Mind you, the File Explorer is probably one of the top 3 in any situation. Most frequently used applications in a Windows device. Usually, whatever work you're doing, it has something to do with the file. You want to copy it, you want to save it somewhere, move it, you want to delete something, you want to backup, you want to rename a file, you want to sort the files according to file size, maybe according to the date modified. You want to check certain permissions on the file. So this File Explorer is very frequently used. So now I'll press on the Windows button plus E, and although you don't see it, it opens up for me the File Explorer, and it will also work the same for you. Okay, Windows E. Remember, E for Explorer. Before that, we used Windows D, Windows plus D, and D is for desktop. Here, Windows plus E, File Explorer. Okay. Number 9 on the list is this one, Alt plus Tab, and that is used for toggling between applications or softwares or in your Windows device. So in the view that you are looking at now, you are seeing that I have a Word document open and an Excel file open. So to use this keyboard shortcut, you will press on your Alt key. Then while it's pressed, you press on Tab. So now earlier, the active application or the topmost application from what you were seeing was Excel. Now it's the Windows, the Microsoft Word. So now if I do it again, Alt Tab, it will toggle between the Word and the Excel. Oh, let me do it again. So this one, okay, Alt Tab, Alt Tab. It doesn't only work with this limited way because in fact I have more than 2 applications open right now. So what you can do if you wanted to go to some other applications is you will just continue, you will continue doing the Alt Tab thing. While your Alt is pressed, you press on Tab and then Tab, Tab. It can allow you to go to any application that you wanted to go to, which is open. That's the Alt Tab. It lets you toggle between applications. And number 10 on the list is this one, Alt F4. Alt F4 is used to close an application. We know that there are a few ways to close an application. The most popular probably is this one. This button with an X is also a close button or an exit button. So as a standard, Windows applications will have this, even those that were developed by some other companies, which are working on a Windows environment. The other way of closing an application is, of course, go to the menu, File, and then Exit. But based on experience, there are times when using this keyboard shortcut, Alt F4, can prove to be much quicker, much more efficient for you if you want it to be, if you're rushing for something, then you can close. So we can try that now in the active application in your view, which you're seeing the topmost that I have open is the Excel. So when I do an Alt F4, Windows understands that I wanted to close Excel, not the Word, which is underneath. Okay, so I'll do that now, Alt F4. See, it closes the Excel. And then again, if I do another Alt F4, it will close the Word document. No, it did not. It closed my other thing. Okay. Let's just say this is the active one, Alt F4. So close that one. So there you go. We have talked about the top 10 keyboard shortcuts available in Windows. And as I said, there are more than 10, there are more than 20 maybe. But it is unwise to be try to memorize all of them because it's quite a long list out there, very exhaustive. But if you focus on these 10, it can really help you a lot to be productive, to be able to work smarter. Okay, so thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new in this video. We talked about the top 10 keyboard shortcuts. Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe.